Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I am your host, Catherine Basu, and today I'm joined by an awesome inspirational guest, Katie Maggio, a mompreneur living in New England, making sure that everyone lives their level 10 mindset. And she does this in two main ways: as a podcaster and host of the Level 10 Lifestyle Show, which was formerly titled Meaningful Moments, so you can find that over on iTunes. Her clients thrive on the Level 10 message because it's simple to follow and powerful when implemented in their everyday lives. She helps people become epic in the areas of relationships, careers, wellness, which is the main reason I have her on the show today, and finances, regardless of where they currently find themselves. Before I bring Katie on, I wanted to remind those of you, since the show, the Fit 15, is still pretty new, the show you're tuning into today, that about halfway through this episode, you're going to hear a little sound, a little guitar playing. That's to remind you to turn around if you have headed out on a walk, because if you remember from the intro, you might not have noticed this if you're new, but I encourage you to get moving during these 15 minutes. So even if you can just sneak in a 15-minute out and back walk, that is going to have a huge benefit for you in terms of your focus, your productivity level. So at that 7.5-minute point, I give you that little cue, that instrumental cue to turn around. And getting that 15 minutes in is going to have a lot of general benefits for you, but if you can repeat that a second time during the day to get a total of 30 minutes of movement a day, you're going to also start to see some health benefits. I wanted to remind you of this today for two reasons. Like I said, just for those of you who are new, appreciate you being here. Want you to get that maximum benefit out of the podcast. And then also because we have a podcaster as a guest. So if you want to check her out and check out an episode you want to listen to get in your final 15 minutes or more for the day, then I highly recommend you check her out after this episode and put that into your workout plan for later. All right, so here we go. Here is our guest today, Katie Maggio. So welcome to the show, Katie. Excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me on. What a pleasure.
So I'd love to have you first dive into those 10 focus areas that help people live their level 10 lifestyle.
Absolutely. Well, I'm a big believer that you can have it all. So when people sign on to the Level 10 method, we go into 10 areas of focus. And they are, we go into family and friends, personal development, spirituality, finances and money, career and business, marriage and relationships, fun and recreation, giving, contribution, paying it forward, physical environment, and health and fitness. So we hone in on 10 areas of life. I mean, I know it's quite a list, but if you really rein in those things and look at them very in-depthly and get them on paper and be honest with yourself about all those areas, I'll tell you what, you can have it all. You can, some people think, well, you can't be fit, or you can't have a good marriage, or you have to give up something to be able to have something. But I don't believe in that, and that's what I coach my clients. So I'm a mindset coach. Mm-hmm. I'm an ultimate success coach, a mindset coach. So it's really getting people in the mindset that they can have it all, and they do have it all. I'm not a therapist, so
Right.
But I work with people who really want to take that next step. They want to get unstuck in life. And at my program, I'll kick you in the ass and then I'll give you a hug afterwards. Things I say is not popular, but that's why you hire me.
Sure. I love how you share that strategy of writing things down to really move forward in what you're working on, because I know that's helped my clients and even me when I'm trying to work on a fitness goal. Lately I've been doing a lot of long distance running events, and I think that I'm running a lot more miles in a given week than I actually am. So writing it down is so helpful. Highly recommend that. Would love to hear of any other strategies you have, Katie, for helping us with our healthy lifestyle goals or just any of those areas of our life that you work on with your clients.
Absolutely. So we'll just for the sake of, because you are a fitness coach as well, we'll
Sure.
start with health and fitness. So we'll sit down. We'll say, all right, a lot of times. This is not every situation, but most situations that I come across is that women who are not as fit as they want to be because they once were quite fit, and I included in this category, they want to get back to where they were. But as we know, as we get older, that is not always realistic, just with our bodies changing and just our physical makeup.
Sure.
So, especially if you've had children, that
Mm-hmm.
changes the game altogether. You become, whether you're a career mom, a mompreneur, you're a stay-at-home mom, a work-at-home mom, it doesn't matter. The game changes with that. And a lot of times people don't have time for fitness. So we'll sit down and we'll say, pick 10 things within that category. What are your goals? Sometimes people say, all right, I used to run 5Ks. I want to run them again. Or, all right, I run 5Ks now, but now I want to run a half marathon. I want to join a CrossFit gym. I want to attend a health retreat. I want to complete the Whole 30 challenge. There's all these things that people want to do, but they can't seem to figure out how to fit it into their lives.
Mm.
And that's where we break down all 10 of those areas of their lives and we figure out how it can happen. So sometimes, well, why can't you attend yoga? Well, I just don't have time. Well, what time is the yoga? Well, it's all these times. Well, how come? Well, because I have to clean my house. I have to do my dishes. Well, the dishes are going to be there. Well, why don't you hire a house cleaner? Oh, I couldn't do that. I'm a work at home mom. I'm responsible for cleaning the house. Well, why can't you hire a house cleaner? Well, because it's $200 a month. Well, all right, that's fine. Why don't we look at your eating out expenses? Could you, if this means the most to you, can we look at how much you eat out a month? Oh, okay. So you spend $500 eating out with your family. Well, can we cut that back to $300 a month? There's so many ways that you can really dive into each category. And then once you kind of navigate through that,
Halfway to 15 minutes if you need to turn around for your walk.
it's like, this epiphany goes off in their head and they're like, wow, okay, well, if I do hire a house cleaner just for, the toilets in the shower and this, that, then you're right. I can take that me time. It's incredible how that happens. So that was a really loose leaf interpretation, but that's how we navigate through it.
No, I think it's important because sometimes you think that all those different areas are separate, but they're really, really intertwined, and they can affect or the time or money we spend in one can affect the time and money we're able to spend in the other, right? So it's important.
Absolutely. And just even getting that mindset, well, why can't you run that half marathon? You're running 5Ks now. Why can't we get there? Well, I don't have the support. My husband works a lot of hours. I don't know if I have the support from him to, okay, well, maybe we need to ask help from your, your sister or your aunt or your mom. Or, there's so many scenarios that come through it, but people they're stuck sometimes focusing on one area that they can't see the bigger picture. And once it's on paper, and once they kind of just get that small nudge and that unbiased perspective, it opens that tunnel vision. You break down that tunnel, and then all of a sudden you're seeing the big wide field, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're right. And so that is what I love, seeing that. So
Sure, those light bulb moments, right?
yes, exactly. And if same thing with anything, even down to paying it forward or contribution. Sometimes people have this ideal that they have to spend all this money to contribute and give back, but there's all these little ways you can do it. And even just a smile, just, helping somebody, smiling at somebody can brighten people's days, and that's giving back. And people don't often think that that's contribution, but it really is, because a lot of times we get lost in our own thoughts in our own head and we don't really see what's going around. And just sometimes a genuine smile to somebody who's having a really bad day can change their day around, and you've made a difference and you don't even know it.
That's so true. And I love how you have such great ways of helping people fit in those 10 focus areas without making it overwhelming.
Yeah. And being aware of yourself, just being aware of your own actions, and honing in on that emotional IQ. So that's what we work on too.
Yeah, and so I definitely would love to talk about that more in the mindset piece because I know, sometimes people think that the most important part of sticking to a fitness routine is, just getting to the gym or, eating certain very specific things, but I've definitely found that mindset can play a big role. So I'd love to hear, as yourself being a mindset coach, just kind of some of the tips, whether they apply to fitness or just other areas of our lives. What are some of those things we can do to change our mindset for the better?
Well, one big one is you got to stop being negative about anything. Unfortunately, and I'm not quite sure at what age this happens, but somehow we go from being innocent and rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and wonderful into like this cynicism, and you always have to like chime in on talking bad about people or joining in on the conversation of negativity, and there's always this. It's very strange, and again, not quite sure really what age that starts. Maybe middle school, maybe high school, because you want to join in on the popular crowd, and hearing all these negative things, and because when we're little, we were taught that we could do anything.
Right.
Anything in the world you wanted to be. And then by the time you like graduate high school, you're like, oh, I'm going to be a biology teacher. That's all I'm going to do for the rest of my life because that's what my guidance counselor said. And, it's this strange thing. So I always tell people, if you think you're going to say something negative, don't. There's nothing to be negative about, and just switch that paradigm. So for instance, if you're looking at somebody and you're automatically judging that person, don't. That person is and I have teenagers. Well, I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, and I'm watching them, and I'm like, why are you judging that person? Well, look what she's wearing. Okay, yeah, I see what she's wearing. She looks wonderful. And then I'm like, no, and I take that, and I'm teaching them at an early age. They need to shift that paradigm, and it doesn't matter how unpopular that might be at school, but they're going to carry that on as adults. And there are so many adults and so many adult bullies out there that hone in on our adult behavior, and just getting that emotional IQ and rising above any of that negativity. That is key. Getting that out, getting that away. Oh, I hate negativity. And hate is a strong word. I hate using the word hate, but I hate negativity.
Totally agree with you on that one. I actually run a fitness program where our first week, the focus is banishing that negative mindset. And people are often surprised that that's a focus point. But there are so many people out there that are going to speak negatively to us. So want to definitely not be doing that, not speaking negatively about ourselves if we want to be successful.
Exactly. And then another big one too is realizing that you cannot change anybody, but the person you can change is yourself. And often people go into relationships, go into marriages, go into friendships with this odd expectation that they're going to change that person, but that's unrealistic, and that's only going to set you up for failure in every single thing you do. But you can change yourself, and the sooner you realize that, the better it is, because you can't change anybody.
No, it's
or,
true. It's true. It's easy to want to,
who
but
wants to change? Why do you want that person to change? Like that person for what they are,
of course. I know I often have clients that want people to change when they're trying to make their own changes, but it's good to be a good healthy role model and do things for yourself, and then maybe people will follow suit, right? So, Katie, loved having you on today. I know I have you scheduled to come back, so people should be excited about that. But in the meantime, where can people connect with you if they want to work on their level 10 lifestyle?
So if you go to level10method.com, level the number 10 method, that is where the self-diagnostic is. It's kind of neat. And you get on there and you can take the initial 10 questions that correspond with the 10 areas. Or you can go to katiemaggio.com, KATIEMAGGIO.com, And there you can find my About Me page, all my podcasts, the form that if you would like to just schedule a free power call or you'd like to do a one-on-one coaching session with me. And you can also find the Level 10 Life podcast on iTunes. And that's how you find me. And I love Instagram. I'm not a huge Twitter user, but if you tweet me, I will certainly tweet you back. And every time I get a tweet, it's like Christmas. I'm on my Instagram and my Twitter handle are at the Katie Maggio. So that's how you can find me.
I love that. I always love a good quiz, right? That's always helpful. Learn more about ourselves.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So, well, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Katie. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure was all mine.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine Basu, your friendly personal trainer and the host of the Fit 15 podcast show. I want to thank you so much for being a part of today's episode and tuning in, and remind you to subscribe to the show for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that if you're listening the day this went live, it's a Friday, unless I mess something up. I am a new podcaster and there's a huge learning curve, so I thank those of you who are listening for bearing with me as I figure out some of the ins and outs of podcasting. But should be Friday, and there will not be an episode on Saturday or Sunday, but there will be a new episode Monday of next week and a new episode on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you subscribe today, you won't forget to do so, and you'll be able to get all those new episodes next week and beyond. One of the reasons why you want to do that as well, especially if you're tuning in the day this is going live, is that I have a special free gift planned that will only be available next week on Monday. So if you don't subscribe, you might forget to tune in and you might not get that reminder to get your free gift. So definitely do that if you're tuning in the day this went live. If you're not tuning in the day this went live, I still encourage you to subscribe, because the reason I have set the podcast up to go live 5 days a week is that if you get moving with me 5 days a week, you are going to start enjoying some great health benefits and just general benefits in your life. So if you can't afford a personal trainer but you'd like someone to help hold you accountable, subscribing is going to help you get that reminder to listen to the episode and hopefully start moving with me when you do. Well, I think that's all I have for you today. Just make sure you also give the podcast a rating when you have a chance so that more people can find it. Share it with people that you already know would be interested in the show. And if you have any feedback or guests to recommend, go to fitarmadillo.com/podcast to share your insights there. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. I really, truly appreciate you. It's an honor to have you tuning in with me, and I hope to get to chat with you more next week. Bye.